Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Raja Umar on my channel RU Speaks, and Raja Umar speaks for you for the subjects of Pakistan studies and global perspectives. For the last few days, we have discussed the topics related to the history and geography of Pakistan studies, but we are switching to the global perspectives. And yesterday, I talked about the component 2 individual report, and we discussed that how an effective and impressive individual report can be drafted to be presented and to make it presentable to the Cambridge so that to attain a better grade over there in the individual report. We discussed the importance of individual report and the weightage of the individual report and the marks as per the syllabus prescribed by Cambridge, and also discussed the components of individual report along with the marking scheme, that what to write for to attain how many marks. So we talked about that the assessment objectives. One, that is the research, analysis, evaluation, and then we talked about the assessment objective 2, that was reflection, and the assessment objective 3, that was the communication. So 40 marks for the first one, that is the research, analysis and evaluation. 5 marks were there for the reflection, and further 15 marks were there for the assessment objective 3, that is the communication. So that what we have already discussed. Now we are moving to very important aspect, and before that I just remind you that do not forget to subscribe, watch, like, comment and share on my channel RU Speaks. Definitely you will get really very good stuff over there for your learning of Pakistan studies and global perspectives. Today we are going to discuss the very important aspect of the individual report component 2, that is the academic honesty. What we have seen that many of the students, they try to dodge not only the institution, not only the Cambridge, not only their parents, not only their teachers, but also themselves, by simply copy pasting or by using AI, artificial intelligence, to draft their individual reports. That is somehow the academic crime, by drafting your individual report without conducting a thorough research as prescribed by Cambridge. So for the sake of conducting the real research, we are supposed to be really very much vigilant, and we should not be simply copy pasting, or we should not be using the the plagiarized content or the AI tools for the sake of making our individual report. So let's begin with the presentation containing that how to prevent plagiarism and how to follow the academic honesty while making your individual report. So here we have the presentation, and we are going to have the all the aspects of this one over here, and we are going to talk about that what can be done. So first of all, we'll talk about that what actually the plagiarism is and what can be done to prevent it. So here we have the presentation opening slide, that is the defining plagiarism. We're going to define over here that what plagiarism is and how can we avoid it, that it should not be there in our individual report, so that we will be having a really presentable and really good individual report to be presented to the Cambridge for the sake of awarding really good grades to us. So moving on, learning objectives. What should we learn today? That we will be having the preventing plagiarism objective in our mind. Define plagiarism, we will discuss that what is it, and explain how it relates to the academic integrity and academic honesty. We will also learn that identify some of the main types of plagiarism. We should be knowing that what are those types of plagiarism, and we are supposed to prevent them. We are not getting closer to them, as they might be just spoiling our research process. Number 3, list some of the potential consequences of plagiarism if there are certain chances of plagiarism in our research work. What consequences would come up in front of us, and what would be the things we might be losing just because of having the more and more plagiarism in our research work. Number 4, brainstorm some ways to plagiarism can be avoided. How can we prevent those types of plagiarism? We will be studying over there in our today's topic. How can we avoid them, that they should not be over there in our research? So next one, discussion on the questions. Why it is important to give credit to the original author and when using their ideas or words in your work. Why it is necessary that we are supposed to be giving the references in our research. If we are searching something, that should be given some credit to us, that we are finding those things by ourselves. But keep in mind that whatever we are searching and we are getting and we are using those things in our research, definitely that person might have taken from some resources, some online resources or some hard resources like books, magazines or certain newspapers. So we are supposed to give credit to that person who has done this. That is what we call referencing or putting in the bibliography. So that is must. So we are supposed to give credit to the person who has done this research and we are using his work in our research. How might you feel if someone else took credit of your work? Yes, I mean, at times we believe really very much annoyed that something is done by me and some other person might be using the same thing with my name. For example, if I give you one example, I made a few presentations of geography and someone asked me to have those presentations. I just simply emailed all those presentations to that person, and without putting in my name over there or without putting some copyright over there on those presentations, what happened that after a few months, about 6 or 7 months, the same presentation came to me by some other sources with the name of that person to whom I had given that presentation in the beginning. So that was my work actually. I made efforts to make that presentation, but when that presentation came back to me, it was with some other's name. So that was really very much annoying for me that the person was using my presentation with his name. So that is what we call the plagiarism. He was just becoming dishonest towards the work of someone else. That was me. He was supposed to give credit to that presentation, that this presentation was made by Raja Umar, but what he did that he just erased his name out of that presentation's first slide and used his own name over there. So that is the academic dishonesty that should not be done. And even being the professionals, being the teachers or being the students, these two sort of people, I mean the students and the teachers, they should be the most honest ones regarding their studies and regarding their learning or regarding their teaching. So for this sake, in the same way, when we come to the research process, so whenever you are taking someone else's work, you are not supposed to claim that work as yours, but you are supposed to refer to that person's work to avoid that plagiarism, and you are supposed to give credit to that person that it was actually his work, but you were using that work in your presentation. So defining plagiarism, that what is it? Plagiarism is the act of using someone else's work, ideas or intellectual property without proper acknowledgement or permission. Presenting it as your own, that is the most important thing. The research was conducted by someone else, but you are using that research with your own name. That is some sort of crime in the form of research. That is what we call plagiarism. It is considered a serious ethical and academic offense. It is a crime. We should not be using the others' work in our research. We are supposed to give credit to that person by putting in the reference or giving proper bibliography. So, what is meant by academic integrity? Academic integrity is about following ethical guidelines and principles in your schoolwork. It emphasizes the importance of honesty, fairness, trust, and respect in all academic activities. This means being committed to creating your own original work, properly cited sources when you use these people's ideas, and valuing the process of learning. Simply, what is the important word? That we are supposed to give credit to the other people's ideas whose ideas we are using in our work. Academic integrity is essential for maintaining a positive and respectful learning environment in your school or in any of the institution where the research process is going on. Now discussing some questions. What are the some reasons a student might be tempted to plagiarize less than? How does plagiarism affect your learning and growth as a student? Very simple thing, that you being the students are supposed to give answer to these questions. What are some reasons a student might be tempted to plagiarize? Students are reluctant to have some laborious work. They move like just simply copy pasting others' work, and they just go through that work without doing any of the hard tasks by themselves. So it means that they become a bit in the comfort zone and they do not conduct their own work, simply copy pasting the others' work as their own. That is plagiarism. So if someone is conducting this plagiarism, definitely being the students, being the teachers, being the researchers, that is really affecting your mind, that you are not honest with yourself, I believe. As even if you are awarded with some degree, some certificate on the basis of some research, and that research you conducted, that was on the basis of plagiarism and AI or humanizing the AI content, whatever, definitely you might be feeling that somehow in later parts of your life you might be regretting that why you committed that academic crime. So that should not be done. So now we are going to talk about certain types of plagiarism. That what are they? Plagiarism is a serious issue that can undermine your academic journey, often in ways you may not initially realize, but in the long run that would be really very fatal for you. Understanding the different types of plagiarism is crucial in helping you avoid unintentional mistakes and ensuring your work maintains its integrity. You must be knowing that what are the different types of plagiarism, because while conducting research you might be coming across with some types of plagiarism, at times intentionally, at times unintentionally. So if you are really very much vigilant and you know exactly about the types of plagiarism, definitely you will be able to avoid them in any case, and your work would be really very much professional, and that would be really your own work and you would be proud of that. Self-plagiarism. The first type of plagiarism. Self-plagiarism occurs when an individual reuses their own previously submitted work for a different assignment or course without proper acknowledgement or permission. For example, if I give some assignment to the students, they make them, they submit, and after few months, while conducting the revision of those topics, if I give another assignment related to the same topic, if the students reproduce the same previous assignment to me as they had already presented to me over there in the past, that is known as the self-plagiarism. They are presenting their own work again to me in the second assignment. That is what we call the self-plagiarism. Again, that should not be done. It is considered a form of academic dishonesty because it misinterprets. It is considered a form of academic dishonesty because it misrepresents the originality of the student's work as it is the work which was reproduced by that student again for the second assignment. So that is some sort of offense on the academic honesty and integrity. So here we have the examples. A student submits an essay. This one I am talking about. A student submits an essay that wrote for their English class on Shakespeare to their history class for a project on historical figures without informing the teacher. This is self-plagiarism because they are using the same work in multiple classes without permission. I mean, the same essay on Shakespeare was given to the English teacher as well and to the history teacher as well. So single project was given to the two teachers. So that is the you can say self-plagiarism, single work for two assignments. And on the other hand, second example, a student fails a science unit and is required to retake the course the following semester. The student submits a previously graded report as if it was new and original without making any changes or informing the teacher that it is the same work. So it means that again student is presenting his task twice. That is known as the self-plagiarism. So moving on to the next type. Collusion. Collusion is the second type of plagiarism. Collusion refers to unauthorized collaboration between students to produce work that is then submitted as one's own independent effort. For example, if a single task is given to a student, but he collaborates with his fellows and with the support of his fellows, he produces that work and submits, that is known as the collusion. It is considered a breach of academic integrity because it misrepresents the true origin of the work as it was supposed to be of the single student's effort, but many students collectively worked on that one and produced that task. So here we have few examples. I'll just talk about the first one just to have the my lesson summarized. Two students decide to work together on an essay assignment. They complete different parts and share answers. Each student dishonestly submits similar or identical versions of the essay as their own work. Single work was given, single task was there, and it happens mostly in the universities that when we give assignment to our students, one good student, one brilliant student makes the assignment and the rest they simply change the fonts of that one or change the presentation style or some animation over there and or even the font type or font size, and the second student presents the task of or the work of some other student with his name as well. So same assignment is presented by two different students. That is known as the collusion. So there are some other examples as well. I will just share this presentation in your description of the video. You can download it and you can have all those examples with you. Moving on to the word substitution. This is going to be really very crucial form of plagiarism, that what we call the word substitution, as it is the form of plagiarism where a writer simply changes the specific words in a source of text to synonyms. This is the important word. They just change the meanings of the words over there in the sentences, and it looks like that the sentence is a brand new one, but actually only the synonyms were used over there in that sentence without paraphrasing the exact sentence over there. So that makes the second type of plagiarism. While this may seem like a way to paraphrase or rewrite content, it can still be considered plagiarism if the structure, meaning, and ideas of the original text remains largely intact without proper attribution. So it means that if there is no big change was done over there, but only the meanings of some of the words, they were taken as the synonyms and the rest of the sentence remained the same, that is known as the word substitution, and this is another form of plagiarism. Examples: original text. Over here, this is the original text. The Industrial Revolution, which began in the late 18th century, was a period of great technological innovation and social change. This was the sentence, the original one, and that was taken from online sources or from elsewhere. Word substitution, what the student has done: the Industrial Revolution starting in the late 1700s was a time of significant technological innovation and social transformation. So here you can see which began. This phrase which began was transformed into starting, and then was a period, time, great, significant, change, transformation. So you can see that there is no change actually. This and this, they are same, just synonyms are made. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So 4 words, they were just changed with their synonyms, and this is how this is known as the word substitution, and it is the plagiarism. Mosaic plagiarism. As referred to the patch writing, mosaic plagiarism occurs when a person takes phrases, ideas, or pieces of text from various sources and blends them into a new work without properly citing the original sources. So one sentence taken from newspaper, the other one taken from the magazine, and the third one from taken some book, and fourth one from taken from some online site, and this whole paragraph was considered students' own work, but it was taken from multiple sources without citing them, without giving the references to them. This is known as the mosaic plagiarism, and it is again some sort of academic dishonesty. Even if the words are slightly changed or rearranged, the structure, meaning, and the sequence of ideas often remain too close to the original. So that is known as, when multiple sources are used and different things are blended together without citing, without giving references, that is known as the mosaic plagiarism. And contract cheating. Let me see if we have some example. No. Contract cheating, that is, if someone is given some task, but he contacts some other person, whether free or on payment, and asks that person to make that research for him or her, and that is presented in the form of that research work. That is known as the contract cheating. Contract cheating is when a student hires someone else to complete an assignment or exam on their behalf. This could involve paying a professional service, individual or peer, to produce work that his student submits as their own. If some assignment is given like individual report, and that individual report is the individual task of the student, but if student pays someone and asks that person that this is my research question of my individual report, and please make a good individual report keeping in view these things in that report, the introduction and the global perspective and the cause and consequences at the global level, then national perspective and causes and consequences on at the national level, and then the possible course of action and the source evaluation and the conclusion, whatever reflection, everything. If student gives the guidelines to that person to make that report, still that is the plagiarism, as that report was not purely made by that student. So a warning: contract cheating can leave a student vulnerable to blackmail. Some contract cheating businesses have exploited students after they have used their service by threatening to expose them if they do not comply with further demands for payment. This can be even occur after graduation, threatening a student career and leading to financial and emotional stress. What happens that if some student gets help from someone, pays that person makes that report, emails that to the student sends it and gets qualified. But what happens that after that person who actually has made that report starts threatening that student that if he won't pay more, this would be revealed and this would be exposed that the report was not of students' own work. So that would be a greater financial and emotional stress on the student. That is another sort of mental issues and crime. Accidental plagiarism. Accidental plagiarism occurs when a student unintentionally falls to give proper credit to sources. It happens at times that you are putting in some sentences or some paragraphs in your report or in your research work, but unintentionally you forget to credit those lines or those paragraphs to the person who actually belongs to that one. This can happen through poor paraphrasing, copy text directly without using quotation marks, citing sources incorrectly, or forgetting to include citations altogether. Despite the lack of intent to deceive, accidental plagiarism is still considered a violation of academic integrity and can have serious consequences. It is unintentional, still it is crime. Still it is offense that you are just copy pasting someone's work, but you are not giving credit to that person. So you cannot get out of this trouble. This trouble will remain with you. So now the consequences of plagiarism. The consequences of plagiarism can vary depending on the severity of the offense, the context, and the particular institution's policies. What do you think are some potential consequences of plagiarism for your academic, personal, and professional future? That would be really very much drastic, I believe. Right? That would be the end of the career if someone is professional and it comes up with some plagiarism issues. That would be a disaster. Right? So moving on, that what does it say? Academic penalties. Assessment, resubmission. You might be asked to resubmit your assignment or assessment. The students may have to start the assessment from scratch and resubmit it. I mean, this is the least penalty, I believe, when teacher says that make your assignment again as it is plagiarized. Number 2, Failing the assignment. If the teacher is a bit strict, simply that student would be failed over there, and the plagiarized work may receive a 0 or failing grade. So that would be another issue for the student. Failing the course. On the plagiarism issue, the whole of the course, whole of the subject might be going, and the student might be asked to re-sit in the whole exam of that course. That can be even really very difficult, and at times student might be repeating whole of the semester, whole of the course the next year to appear. So it means that would be really wastage of time as well. Suspension or expulsion. You may be suspended from that course or that semester, or you may be expelled from that institution. Mostly in the case of the professional research, like at the MPhil and PhD levels, and it proved that you plagiarized certain content and you got that degree or you got that certificate of research, you might be expelled from that institution, from your job. In severe cases, especially at the university level, students can be suspended or expelled from the institution. So this is what I have explained. Personal consequences. You might be simply over with your reputation. Damaged reputation. A damaged reputation among peers and instructors can lead to the loss of trust and respect. And then awards and scholarship. You might be getting certain awards or certain scholarships, but you are committing plagiarism. You might be losing those awards and scholarships. Plagiarism can lead to the loss of scholarship, awards, or other academic honors you are receiving. Increased stress. Definitely there would be stress. The fear of getting caught or the aftermath of being caught can cause significant stress and anxiety. Self-esteem and confidence. You might be losing whole of your confidence, and that would be really very dangerous for your personality, that you would not be able to do any constructive work in your future. So being caught plagiarizing can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and a loss of confidence in one's abilities. Legal penalties. If you have copy pasted the work of someone else, you might be getting some issue of copyright infringement. Plagiarism can lead to legal action if it involves violating copyright laws, potentially resulting in fines or lawsuit. You may be penalized on the legal basis. You might be imprisoned, you might be fined, and that would be really very much fatal for you. Then professional reputation. For those already in a career, plagiarism can severely damage professional credibility, potentially leading to job loss or difficult securing future employment. So that would be over for your career. Ways to avoid plagiarism. How can you prevent the plagiarism? Here we have discussion questions. Earlier we discussed some of the reasons students might be tempted to plagiarize. Can you think of some ways that students might be able to overcome these temptations? What strategies can you use to ensure that you avoid plagiarism in your future assignments? So these are the questions you are supposed to keep in mind while conducting your research work, that you should not be committing this crime, that you should not be plagiarizing the content. Understand the rules. Understand what constitutes plagiarism. Familiarize yourself with what plagiarism is, definition of plagiarism, and its types, intentional or accidental. You should be knowing all types of plagiarism, so that while conducting research you should be going away from them. You should not be moving towards them. Knowing the rules help you avoid unintentional mistakes. So understand the assignment. Make sure you fully understand the requirements of your assignment, including what types of sources are allowed and how they should be used. If in doubt, ask your instructor or teacher for further clarification so that you may not be indulging in this offense of plagiarism. Manage your time. Procrastination can lead to rushed work, increasing the risk of accidental plagiarism. If you are given some time to make some report, like individual report of global perspectives or some assignment based on some research work, you are supposed to start making that report or that research right from the same day when you get it. If you will drag those things to the last day, definitely you will be having the time constraints with you, and then intentionally or unintentionally the things would move towards plagiarism. Start your assignment early to give yourself enough time to research, write, and properly cite your sources. So this is how the things should be done, that we should not be dragging the things to the 11th hour. So that would be dangerous, that you will not be able to complete your desired task in desired given time. So cite your resources. Keep track of resources. First, make all the resources websites a document, separate document, and then open these documents one by one and cite them, get the content from there, paraphrase them, and put in the references or in-text citation and the detailed bibliography, so that you may not be committing any crime regarding your research work. So this will make it easier to cite them correctly later. Use proper citation. Always use your sources when using someone else's ideas, data, or words. This includes direct quotes, paraphrasing, and summarizing. Use the correct citation style, for example, APA, American Psychological Association, or Modern Language Association, Chicago, as or Harvard even, as required by your institution. But as I have told you in the last lesson, that for the sake of individual report, there are no hard and fast rules that which sort of style you are supposed to use. You can use any form of referencing while making your individual report. Carefully review. Review and edit. Before presenting, you are supposed to review your work, edit it. If you believe that there are certain chances of plagiarism in certain paragraphs or sentences, review your work and just edit them. Carefully check your work before submission to ensure all sources are properly credited and that you have adhered to the guidelines for quoting, paraphrasing, and citing. Use detection tools. You should be having some detection tools with you, that while conducting your research you might be using those detection tools that might be telling you that what is the percentage of plagiarism is over there in your document, or what is the percentage of AI if you are using it. I discourage using AI in any case for the sake of completing your individual report of global perspectives. I will not recommend AI. These tools might identify passages that need better citation or areas where you may be accidentally paraphrased too closely. So it means that the accidental plagiarism, it is you can say it may happen that your paraphrasing might be getting really very much closer to the original work. So that might be considered as plagiarism. So how to overcome that accidental plagiarism? You are supposed to use certain detection tools that might be that might be telling you that how these sentences can be paraphrased in the better way to prevent that accidental plagiarism. Now that you have a thorough understanding of plagiarism, work with a small group to come up with your own plagiarism checklist that you can use before submitting each of your assignment this year. Identify about 5 to 10 checkpoints and write a short description underneath each. So that would be a sort of practice activity for you, that how you are supposed to prevent plagiarism in your research work. So that is the end of today's lesson. You are supposed to be doing or working on your individual report really very carefully, keeping in mind this presentation I have just explained, and you will be having a really good time in your research work. This is all about for today. Do not forget to subscribe my channel RU Speaks. Raja Umar speaks for you for the subjects of global perspectives and Pakistan studies. Up till now, this is over. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.